We are happy with you. We will continue to remain loyal. We will work with you for the good of this nation because we know you mean well. We are happy with you, and we are full of prayers that under your leadership, this country will see peace. We are aware of the troubles going on and sponsored insecurity in parts of the country. And that is why the prayers of both the Muslims and the Christians are very important. And I do know that God sees our heart, and the prayers will be very potent at a time like this.
But I have a problem with what the Senate President, Senator Akpabio, said. How can a Senate President in a democracy say we are loyal to the President? Does he understand what they call separation of powers? Does he understand it? I mean, who are these people that are leading us? Who are they really? That's why this morning I want to read from the Montesquieu that says, when the legislative and the executive powers are united in the same person or in the same body of magistrates, there can be no liberty. Because apprehensions may arise, lest the same monarch or senate should enact tyrannical laws to execute them in a tyrannical manner. And that's exactly what has happened to this Senate. Yeah, President Tinubu was talking about calling them names. We will call them names. And by the way, he said other things about the economy stabilizing. The economy is not doing better, President Tinubu. An indication is, with all your revenue last year, you couldn't release money for contractors. You couldn't do projects. You are carrying over 70% of your capital expenditure from 2025 into 2026. And you're saying your economy is doing better. That's casino economy. But coming back to the Senate President, you can see what Montesquieu said there. And that's why we're having a lot of tyrannical laws. Yesterday, I was watching a video where Okoye, former INEC Education Commissioner and all of that, was talking about the fact that the argument made by the Senate was hogwash. That they've put every provision in place, that all the polling units they've mapped out, there is no one that does not have signals to be able to transmit election results. And they have done all the modeling. But the Senate and the House went ahead to enact tyrannical laws against the Nigerian people. And that's why in another intervention yesterday, Olisa Gbakoba was seen to be saying, go and pass the law to make it mandatory for electronic transmission. It goes back to what Montesquieu is saying here. Once you have two arms that are supposed to be separated in cahoots, the Senate President says loyal to the President, then it's problem for Nigeria. Because we can't get effectiveness. And with due respect, these Senates don't represent us. They're there to represent the interests of the President. That's why it's everything in the interest of the President they are doing. Let's call a spade a spade. This is a democracy, for Christ's sake. It's not an authoritarian government or a military government. How can a Senate President be coming up and be saying to us boldly, I'm loyal to the President, when you're supposed to be co-equal arms of government? What joke are we practicing here? Somebody wake me up from this nightmare. Secondly, I have a point. Secondly, as regards what was passed, yes, they are making projections, 40 trillion. Oh, we want to do 40 trillion. When we do the money, are they going to use it for the people? That's a question we should ask them. Are they? With the meeting of revenue target, over 28 trillion recorded, over 65% of our revenue target, we've met, non-oil, we did well, and all of that. What was the impact? It was Pabolo Jasi. Budgets couldn't be funded for the Ministry of Health and all of that. And when these poor MDAs go to the Senate again, senators are still winking at them. What is happening in this country? Isn't that an indictment on this government that over 70% of its capital expenditure cost is passed to the 2026 budget? God knows that most of the capital expenditure cost too will also be passed further down the line to 2027. We say we are making revenue, people can't see it. It's a casino economy. Because a government that claims it's making revenue, it makes revenue from the fecundity of the economic activities, it makes revenue in taxation, and it uses the revenue back to the people. It's a cycle, it's a chain reaction. It's like your Krebs energy cycle. Let's call it spade a spade. We are in a democracy here. Somebody wake me up from this nightmare.
All right. Now to an exclusive interview making waves internationally. Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has pushed back strongly against claims that Christians are being systematically exterminated in Nigeria. The First Lady told CBN News in Washington that the violence in Nigeria is rooted in poverty, terrorism, and political instability rather than religious persecution. She warned that labeling it genocide could actually embolden the very terrorists carrying out the attacks. Let's take a look.
Is there genocide in Nigeria?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so because when you look at these areas, it was first the Hadas conflict, and it has been there for years. And when you're coming into an environment that are mainly Christians, when you attack them because you go into their farmlands, and then when you have terrorists and people kidnapping for money, and when the world is throwing a narrative that is Christian genocide, they will now hit on that and begin to attack churches. And you should remember, we are getting into the election year. So there are a lot of things going on that, we don't believe that, it's really genocide the way it's being portrayed.
All right, this is a deeply complex and sensitive issue. The First Lady's words have sparked a debate both at home and among Nigerians in the diaspora. As critics argue, the numbers tell a different story. According to Open Doors World Watch list, over 70% of Christians killed worldwide in recent years have died in Nigeria. Ayo, the First Lady, is re-echoing the federal government stance that there is no Christian genocide in Nigeria. Your thoughts?
I don't think we should be surprised at that. She's married to the president. I don't expect her to go on an international platform like that and say that, yes, there's Christian genocide, when the government's position has consistently been that there isn't. However, what I would prefer for this government, and perhaps the First Lady in using her soft power, this soft power diplomacy, in granting interviews to convince the international community, particularly the United States of America, is to provide alternative facts. The people, the constituents themselves, people who live in these areas, have consistently said that there is, in fact, Christian genocide and, persecution based on their faith. The Christian Association of Nigeria has spoken out. The Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria has spoken out. There are religious leaders in the Middle Belt who have spoken out. And this is not just under the Tinubu administration. It's been there consistently before. And the only time their voices were amplified was when President Trump made that tweet. It has been there consistently. The videos of mass graves have been on consistently. And so what I would prefer, rather than just saying, I don't think so, and I mean, she's entitled to her personal opinion on that, but would be provide facts. This is the reason why I believe this isn't, because the others have shown proof. They've shown mass graves, they've talked about churches being burnt. Now they're even advising us not to go and worship in the way that we want to worship. Dr. Wati says stop the church. You can't ask people not to express their religious rights based on violence. It means that you are confirming the fact that the state has failed in providing security for Christians in the country. And so, like I said, she would say what she would say. But the truth is that the more they deny it, the more they do an injustice to the number of Christians who have been killed in the Middle Belt, in the north, in different parts of Nigeria, and the more they are playing ostrich with facing the problem. Right. I thought this was a fine moment for the Nigerian government to finally tackle this challenge and this issue that a number of Christians have cried out for a very long time. But unfortunately, it seems that they're taking the way out of just denial, but the issue persists. I'm not saying, because two truths can exist at the same time, that there are no more complex issues around herder clashes and all, but we're saying alongside that is a particular target at a particular Christian group. I also want to say that can she grant the local media interviews as well? We've seen a lot of international appearances. It would be great to have her engage with Nigerian journalists as well, and let us, fact for fact, conversation for conversation, and talk about this.
Fine. They're asking us to move to the next story, but I know you have something to say.
Okay, in this same interview, I want to read a part of it. She personally recounted facing persecution due to her interfaith marriage, being a Pentecostal and married to President Bola Tinubu. Specifically, a Muslim cleric publicly called her heathen and suggested that she should be stoned for openly practicing Christianity. But she noted that many who defended her against this threat were from the north, highlighting nuanced religious dynamics. Doesn't she answer the question for us?
She actually...
If it's a country that is free of persecution, should she marry a Muslim be a problem in the first place. You see, with our own mouths, despite the fact that they try to deny, you see, hey God, Ayinla Omowura said something famously. Ayinla Omowura said, "Asoju ọ̀rọ̀ irọ́ ni mú wá." When you talk too much, you start to lie.
Yes.
The truth is, in this case, with her own mouth, she has come out to say that she herself also faced persecution. They keep saying there's no persecution in this country. Let's say the truth.
Rufai, as a student of literature,
yes,
the part of her statement that I would take is a statement that religious issues in Nigeria are far more complex and nuanced than it is presented. The emphasis is on the nuance.
Right.
In other words, there isn't a single narrative, you know, to just say, Christians are being persecuted. What she's saying really is that there are many dimensions to the story rather than a single narrative.
That she confirmed persecution.
Right. You are right, Rufai.
No, I said all of us are involved.
Yes.
The major challenge is insecurity in Nigeria, and the Nigerian government is trying to address it by seeking the cooperation of the United States and other countries. Solving the problem is where the challenge is, not about personal testimony.
I disagree with the Nigerian government approach. Oji, please. Is the fact that they are not addressing the problem by partnering with America alone. They are addressing the problem by going on a propaganda spin. Dr. Abati, we here, we are not children. We see it. We know about the $9 million being spent. If you have a problem, you don't need to spend $9 million to be going to talking to CBN and conservative media. Fix the problem. When you fix the problem, we Nigerians will go ahead and say the problem.
No, the emphasis is not propaganda.
It's propaganda.
Are you also aware, as somebody who has a microphone, that there are troops, American troops that are here. There are countries collaborating with Nigeria. That's part of the effort.
All right. Can I moderate this plan? Can I moderate this
propaganda.
May I moderate this panel?
That's a one-sided narrative.
May I moderate this panel?
Please go ahead.
May I? All right. Thank you. You are absolutely right, Dr. Abati, about the nuance in her statement. And you're also right, Rufai, about the fact that she did admit persecution. Simplicity. But what she actually is against is to term the whole issue around the word genocide. Well, the First Lady also used the Washington visit to thank President Trump for the Christmas Day missile strikes against terrorist holdouts, saying it was the first Christmas in recent memory where no church was attacked. I believe she did have a successful visit there in Washington. Let's now turn our attention to the drama surrounding the exit of the outgoing Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun. The Nigerian police force has now been forced to respond to allegations first raised by activist Omoyele Sowore that 100 million naira from Anambra State security vote account was transferred into the personal bank account of Kayode Egbetokun's son, Victor Egbetokun. Back in January, Showere's Sahara reporters first published the explosive investigative report detailing transactions from September 2025, alleging the funds were moved from the Anambra State security vote account at Sterling Bank into Victor's personal Zenith Bank account in 4 tranches of 25 million naira each. The report further alleged that while the funds were electronically reversed, on September 29th, they were subsequently withdrawn in cash and redeposited into the same account days later. Police spokesperson Benjamin Hundeyin, speaking on live television, dismissed any insinuation of wrongdoing, insisting that the transaction was nothing more than a banking error that was promptly detected and reversed.
It doesn't really make any sense for you to just wake up and commence a campaign of calumny against him. Oh, you could remember when he said, 100 million naira was paid into the account of the son of the IGP. And you know, I called the son of the IGP immediately to find out what happened, and he explained that, yes, I saw 100 million in my account, and I told my account officer to reverse the money immediately, which he did. He printed out his statement of account, he showed me, he sent it to me, I saw it, which he did. Only for Sahara reporters to say, oh, yes, the money was returned, then cash was withdrawn again and paid into the IGP's son's account again. And I saw the statement of account. There was nothing like that. In fact, exposing the details of the account and everything, the young man was forced to close down that account so that people would not use it to commit any other form of mischief. In any case, He has written a petition to the EFCC for that allegation to